wanted to go home. He says his mind, none of the three of us wanted to go home, insisted on the ride home. The one Mason was stuck, in that regard, be driving when he never intended to. So he was influenced. Be that as it may, I think it's another example of poor decisions and judgments. Only treated when you've been drinking. But so nonetheless, the accident, there's more now. My understanding of what happened that he's never been notified. Correctly stated, his vehicle went off any insurance company or attorney. He says representing an injured party. So we simply, he says, we're not aware of anybody did ask seriously injured. We are aware of the exam occupant. So he was in his occupant. Asked for an ambulance ride to the hospital, was treated and released. Only treated and released. That was the end of that. So now, if there's more injuries involved than that, he's never been notified. You were edged more questions. By any insurance company or attorney representing an injured party. One other case. So we simply present to you. We're not aware of anybody. I talked seriously injured. We are just heard this prior case. I assume that's when you were asked for an ambulance ride to the hospital, was treated and bad injuries and etc. We understood. All I can say is in his case, he's not aware of any injuries now, other than the one occupant. Ambulance and treated and released. Now, whether that can be that you or edged more questions, I would point out maybe, but redeeming factor. What I would say is this. When you mentioned one other case a while ago, he didn't get into more serious. His came in mind. That's true. I talked to him a little bit about it. When I just heard this prior case, I assume that's when you were referencing where there's a bad accident, bad injuries, and etc. All I can say is in his case, he's not related to any injuries related to one occupant, ambulance and treated and released. Any serious injury. Again, be that as it's treated and released. I would point out maybe the redeeming factors here.
Halloween of 2000.
He did not flee to elude the police.
The affidavit has.
He didn't get into a resisting.
Etc. That's true. This has.
There are some redeeming factors.
Fingerprints on.
Because
she got here.
We only
somebody
know
asked the state police to
an
go back
accident
and better interview
because of alcohol.
The person in the vehicle.
Related. Alcohol-related action.
Police reports said.
Not aware of.
I spoke to
any serious injury.
Pearson. Well,
other than this treated release.
Well, this happened a year ago. He went to Halloween of 2024. He stated the affidavit scan was done, his blood sugar was checked. He has an extensive history of head injuries. Miss Campaign's fingerprints from his neck to his arm because she got here and somebody asked has gotten worse to go back and better interview the person in the vehicle accident. And he now has trouble rotating his head due to his neck. I spoke to Pearson. Well, Miss Canfield wasn't here. He has suffered February of 25 conditions such as short-term memory loss, to the hospital to have his head sensitivity. He stated no head scan was done, but his blood sugar was crash. He has an extensive history of head injury while intoxicated, nerve pain, serious or neck to his arm. He advised the issue with his neck has gotten worse. Also, bear in mind, this was February cooperative. I don't know the October accident. And he now has trouble rotating his head. So when it was neck authorized, finally, in June of this year, he has suffered from pre-existing conditions such as short-term memory loss, chronic headaches, and operating while intoxicated. All of which has gotten worse since getting in the crash. Intoxicated with a serious injury. That's operating while intoxicated. So this is what we got: serious or debilitating police report. When they went back and but it also looks like they weren't particularly cooperative. I don't know that they ever got for some time. It's better now. So when it was authorized, but finally they would in June have of this year, accident, and then they would never. All that was authorized was high blood alcohol level and ambulance, and they never checked to see what happened. There was no felony charge of operating. Then you find out serious injury, terrible debilitating. So this is what we got. But this happened. The police were multiple times. When they went back and re-interviewed in the last several years, and this has been a sore. I didn't know if that's what this was. So it's for some time. It's better now. Once they asked for further investigation, but that has they would Davis's have a bad accident, and then they would never in December. Passenger was a case that she moved by ambulance, and they never checked to see what happened to the person. So she or somebody, then you find out they've got terrible debilitating injury investigation. This happened, which they did multiple times. Then several months in the last several years, Miss Canfield. So I didn't know if that's authorized. So it happened in October. Appears that they asked for further investigation. That has Miss Davis's fingerprints on it. She took office in December. But it is a situation, and this would have crashed into somebody inherited from the previous administration. His car over, so she or somebody, Mr. Gabriel, or could have killed five. Asked the police to do some more investigation, was over which they did limit for. Then several months later, Miss Canfield, he also has authorized this. It also prior criminal history. He's only 22 years old. Parents are not particularly cooperative with the prosecutor. But it is a situation that crashed into somebody else's car, more from the rolled his car over with reading the police report, and this could have killed five felony. And his blood alcohol was over instead of limit for 93-day misdemeanor. But the prosecutor has the discretion. High blood alcohol level. He also has the charge and the plea offer, and they know more about prior criminal history. And he's only 20. We always have to remind ourselves of that. So with all of that, Mr. Felt, go ahead. So with that,
basically,
maybe we'll get enlightened more from the prosecutor.
My client wasn't aware of
reading
the
the police report,
that did happen.
This looked like
it's been quite a while, felony. As you pointed out. He hasn't been contacted.
This is where things get legally spicy. The judge is basically saying, look, this wasn't just a drunk driving mishap. This could have been charged as a felony. And that's a huge deal because felony OWI carries far heavier consequences. Question for you all. Do you think prosecutors should have pushed for the felony from the start? Drop your take below. Curious where you stand.
It happened, and he hasn't been. It's been quite a while. As you pointed out, he hasn't been contacted by anybody suggesting.
Well, he said the kid said we don't consider him to be a friend anymore, so I don't think they had any further contact after the accident.
I now see supplemental reports.
I'm only pointing out he
is
hasn't been
referring to
contacted by anybody
that were not
suggesting
available to me
an above threshold injury claim.
Or very
yeah, so there was no
likely
insurance
would have
claim or
charged
anything
this at the
made.
felony
Correct.
level.
Okay.
That being said,
All right.
it was a serious
Miss Canfield,
matter.
what's your thought
There
here?
were apparently for that passenger
what I
that was
can tell you,
injured,
I think
pre-existing
we were in the
conditions that may
midst
have
of
been made
changing
worse,
our
and that would be
computer storage
perhaps
systems
one of the difficult things
for
to
these
differentiate at
cases,
trial as to
I
what
now
was
see
pre-existing
supplemental
and what
reports
was
that
the actual
court is
injury
referring
from
to
the accident,
that
although
were not
you do
available to
somewhat
me
take your
at the time
victim
of
as you
charging,
find them,
or
or very
condition
likely would have
worse.
charged this at the felony level.
I do think that
That being
a period
said,
of probation
with it was a serious
the victim
matter.
impact panel and alcohol
There were
monitoring
apparently for that passenger that was injured
is
pre-existing
definitely a
conditions
need
that may
here.
have been made worse,
I do
and that
also
would
think
be
that we should reserve
perhaps
restitution
one of the difficult things to
for any of the
differentiate at trial
individuals who were injured
as to what
whose
was
vehicles were
pre-existing
damaged
and
if
what
they're
was the actual
not
injury from the accident,
Moving
although
forward,
you do somewhat take your victim as you find them if you make a condition worse.
charges.
I do think that a period of probation with
concerning
the victim impact panel and alcohol monitoring,
I frankly think
is
that because of the
definitely a
severity of the
need
injury
here and the fact that it
I
wasn't
do
charged
also think
as a
that we should
felony.
reserve restitution.
This is another
for
instance in
any
which
of the
30 days of jail would
individuals who
be
were injured
appropriate in
whose vehicles
addition
were
to
damaged
the
if there
community
were
service that's recommended.
That's going to come forward.
I mean, there has to be more than an overnight while you're intoxicated
criminal
wake-up call in these types of
charges, leaving the scene of an
instances.
accident, uncontrolled substance use, which is
it could
also
have-
concerning.
We just
Notice how the word cooperative keeps popping up? In legal cases, especially injury-related ones, cooperation can make or break a felony charge. If witnesses go quiet or dodge calls, prosecutors are often left with holes big enough to drive a flipped SUV through. It's a reminder. Lack of cooperation doesn't mean innocence. It just muddies the waters.
in these types of
And I would
instances.
ask that the remainder of the recommendation of Mr.
It could have
be followed.
We just had a serious
accident on 131 southbound
Daniel, what's your thought?
in Kent County or Allegan County. I guess it's a little bit further south where 4 people died.
When we were drinking is bad.
And obviously, in these accidents that can occur,
As near as I
particularly if
could
the
tell,
vehicle
from the information that I
flips.
have,
So I do think that the jail is warranted, and we've overcome the presumption of fines and costs in this particular matter. And I would ask that the remainder of the recommendation of Mr. Freitas be.
They both say they're not each other's friends, so it's bad blood going back and forth. Fuel
Daniel,
stuff,
what's your thought?
you get an accident like this. I was very concerned about obviously that would cause you rear ends when we were obviously it's bad. So, and I think part of it is as near as I could tell, after what I have, it's not a felony. I mean, 173 is high. Determine whether what was caused. Used to get so many high ones now. Predetermined. There's bad blood between both parties. Do I think that jail is alcohol? One says it's not. Factors are here. They both say they're not each other's friends. So it's I think probation back and forth. Very young, fuel stuff. I kind of structured the teamwork service for a couple days, and actually it should say 16 hours because that would cause 8 hours a day, which would be the equivalent of 2 other days in jail. So, and I think part of it is we do get kind of desensitized after a while. You think, well, it's not a felony, no one else. I mean, 173 is high, but it is serious. We're so used to getting so many high ones now. And like I said, but as far as the injuries, as near as I could tell, I think that jail can be obviously concrete, a factor in here. I had that said, well, yeah, I think probation's huge, very young. I kind of, but I didn't structure the teamwork service for a couple of days, and actually I should say 16 hours, because I know we use that 8 hours. I have some issues with that. It's getting better. 2 other days in jail. Better with a follow-up on that. It would have been nice to know if there was definitely some injuries that were caused of this, but he's not dead. He's looking at anyone else's recommendation, and it is serious. And like I said, but as far as the
Mr.
injuries,
Schuster,
as near as I could tell,
what would you like me to know?
that I had that said, well, yeah, this accident caused it. Now, is there a likelihood? Yes, there is.
Is there anything you'd like
I'm
to
sorry,
I
say?
didn't have
Judge,
any
I-
that setting.
I
I think the follow-up was all that
need for apology.
detailed.
You were talking with your
We
client,
have
that's
some issues with
appropriate.
that. It's getting
Mr.
better. and I'm hoping
Schuster,
it
is there anything
continues to
you
get better
want-
with a follow-up on that, because it would have been nice to know if there was definitely some injuries that were caused of this, but this is my recommendation.
I
And
understand the severity of it,
the
but
court
it's
had
been over years. I don't drink anymore.
Mr.
I hardly
Schuster?
do. I drink on occasion.
What would you like me to know?
Back when the accident happened, Kirsten or whatever his name is, he told me that he was released.
Is there anything
the
you'd like
same
I'm
to
sorry,
night.
Judge,
He was beat
I
up by the
no
police
need
2
for
years
apology.
prior.
You were
because
talking with
he
your
had
client,
cleaned
that's
and
appropriate.
done
Mr.
this and
Schuster,
that,
is there anything
which
you
is
want?
what caused the nerve damage. That's what caused the nerve damage. I was never told that he was more injured or anything from it. I mean, I understand the severity of it. He's just doing this to try to get me in trouble because he's upset. I don't drink anymore.
I
or I
can
hardly do.
Tell that you're
I drink
very
on
not very
occasion.
remorseful, you dope.
Back when
He
the
didn't try
accident
to get
happened,
you in trouble.
Kirsten or whatever
They
his
reached
name
out
is,
to
he
him,
told
and
me
he
that he was released the
uncooperative
same
with
night.
them.
He
You
was beat
crashed
up by
your
the
car
police 2 years
with a
prior
.173
because he
blood
had
alcohol.
fleed and
You rear-ended
done
another
this
car
and
and
that,
almost killed
which is
2
what
people.
caused the nerve
You rolled
damage.
your car
That's what
over
caused the nerve
multiple
damage. I was
times
never
with a couple
told that he
people
was
in there.
more injured.
This is one of those moments where you hear the system gently admitting, yeah, our follow-through wasn't great. And that's important because when injury evidence isn't fully documented, judges end up working with incomplete puzzles. Imagine sentencing someone when half the medical info is missing. How fair can that be? Let me know if you think sentencing should wait until every medical detail is confirmed.
Your blood alcohol with a couple people in there. 2 times your response the legal limit. You try to get me in trouble. It took a year
That's not what I'm trying to
about
say,
for
sir.
you to get
It's
arrested.
really-
It's what you said. It shows you don't have any remorse. In February, the new prosecutor inherited it. Before you dig your hole in, ask what else would you like me to information, which we didn't.
I just would like you to know I truly am.
We didn't check with him either, apparently. Let me repeat, you hit a car with 2 people in it. You rolled your car over 3 times with 3 people in it. Your blood alcohol was lasting 2 times the legal limit. Injury. It took a year or about for you to get arrested. And then there was the follow-up. And then the follow-up in February, the new prosecutor inherited it. Something. Asked for more information, which we didn't completely get. We didn't check with him either. What I said is, I feel like I'm the affidavit says, universe. We had the young He advised of El Salvador, lasting effects from the head injury. Lose a 2-something. Crashes his car, leaves the scene of the accident, and then there was the follow-up, fights with the cops. The next man got lost 289 or something. He's 57 years old. He's an Indian immigrant. So he crashed into a car. What I said is, I feel like I'm in the wrong universe. And we had you crashed into a car, boy, injured the people in your El Salvador, and well, this happened a year ago. Crashes his car, leaves the scene of the accident, runs a stop sign, fights with the cops. I don't know all the next man. Some had to do with a 289 office. He's 57 years old. He's an Indian immigrant. Arrested, he crashed into a car. But this ain't a 1 day in jail credit. 1 day. And unless you crashed into a car and go injured the people in your car. And well, this happened a year ago. Sometimes it takes a long time for these to get authorized. Sure, what is the right answer? You're 22. I don't know all the circumstances. Some had to do with 23. But you do what 23-year-olds do. Once you got arrested, you boy from El Salvador went out and got drunk. But this ain't a 1 day in jail credit. Well, 1 day. You drink way too much. I might as well retire, and then when you get to that point, you lose your judgment. Well, I can drive. You had to drive all the way from Kalamazoo to where you were. You finally crashed into the back end of this other car. 23. We've had a terrible year of accidents on 23-year-olds do. Miss Camfield just remarked to the one that happened from El Salvador, went out and got drunk and then drove his car. Days where 4 people well, of course. You drink way too much at a party. This guy isn't going out of his way to get you in trouble. You lose your judgment. It's like, well, I could drive. You had to drive all the way from Kalamazoo to where you were, where you finally crashed into the back end of this hospital information. We've had a terrible year of additional information on passengers. Miss Camfield just remarked to the one that happened in Allegan County, and all passengers in the last 14 days where 4 people were killed. That's either Mr. Gabriel or Ms. Davis in January. This guy isn't going out of his way to get you in trouble. This case needs some more work. Kudos to them. What it says, in February, contacted Kirsten's parents. As far as I see, all he ever got concerning his medical status. Parents seem to be uncooperative. Prosecutor requested additional information. Parents of subject Kirsten Richards regarding medical condition. Interview and all passengers from both vehicles office. So they wanted to know what the guy. That's either Mr. Gabriel or Ms. Davis. And he says right after they took off the crash. Hey, this case needs some more work. Kudos to them, but it wasn't like he was in February. Hey, contacted Kirsten's parents to receive call from him concerning his medical status. Parents seem to be uncooperative. Are you working somewhere now? Contacted parents of subject taken to hospital after crash. All right, that's what he said. You do drywall? The prosecutor's office. So they wanted to know what the guy. Well, you're going to lose your driver's license as a result of this. And he says it's all gotten worse since the crash. But it wasn't like he was like, hey, please interview me. Probation is needed here. Anything else that you want to tell me? I'm gonna do a 24-month probation, which can be discharged. Are you working somewhere now?
Yes, sir.
All right, where is that? I'm gonna work 11 days, credit 1. All right, that's what he said. You do drywall? Which we served on the weekends. Well, you're gonna lose your driver's license as a result of this. I'm supposed to do I can do about it proportionally. And according to the Auburn Hills Court of Appeals case, I'm not exactly even sure what that means here. It is your first drinking driving offense. Do a 24-month probation. Not get charged as a felony. In fact, they even reduced it from IBAC. I'm going to order 11 days OUIL 1, leaving 10 days to serve. There's $300 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50. I'm supposed to do minimum sentences, proportional $100 screening fee. You hired your own attorney. According to the $960 probation oversight case. I'm not exactly even sure what that means. Ms. Canfield, do you have? It is your first drinking driving offense, and it did in fact not get charged as a felony. In fact, they even reduced it from IBAC. So it's just a regular OUIL first offense. There's $300 fine. I just did $275 crime victims drinking driving is $50 state minimum. Schuster, there's $100 screening fee. You hired your own attorney.
Yes, sir.
$960 probation oversight fee plus 100 screening fee. Ms. Canfield, do you have a police probation